It's time to follow the money with your hosts, Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard.
It's good to have you on board as we are live in Vegas, South Point Sportsbook. Mitch Moss, Pauly Howard. We'll do Win Some, Lose Some coming up in about 25 minutes and more on tonight's loaded hockey schedule. This is going to be a lot of fun. He is a high-limit bettor and a longtime bar manager here in Las Vegas. Chris B is kind enough to join us here in studio. We can pop this up right away, actually.
Yep.
He's the guy, we showed this last week. He popped this bad boy. Look at that. 40,000 on a Royal, $10 a hand. Oh, mama.
Held two.
You gets the other three.
Oh.
Thanks for coming in studio today. How are you? Pretty good, I'm guessing.
Great, thanks. Good to be here and listen to you guys all the time.
Thanks, buddy.
Is that your biggest jackpot of all time?
Yeah, I've hit a couple of those. I've hit a couple $20,000 jackpots, but this one was on free play.
Oh.
It wasn't even. I had to put money in. You put $100 in just to get your free play
To activate it.
and I got down to about 100 left, and it popped it. Held two, and it popped it.
Can you say where this was at?
This is Green Valley.
It was at Green Valley. Okay, all right.
What'd you tip?
I tipped the bar 2,500,
Well, nice.
and then gave them 1,000.
Really?
Yeah, gave the
slot attendant?
Yeah, I gave them that. Yeah.
Really?
Give him
That's
1,000.
strong.
What do you think the normal tip would be on a jackpot
It's
like
funny
this?
because I really don't drink, so
Yeah, okay,
I have
fair,
like
yes.
a bottle of water. I mean, I could. That's it. But I mean, I know those people. I've been in the business. When you're in the business, you tend to tip a little more. But I mean, hey, look, what actually, I've bartended in this town for a long time, managed, and I'm going to tell you, what do you actually do? It's almost uncomfortable to take that much money from someone because they're risking everything.
Uh-huh.
They're the ones that are risking. Now, if you have your locals that come in, regular people all the time, they're going to tip you a little more, but you can't. What do you expect? What do you give them? A couple beers? What do you expect? 10%. 10% is basically what people expect. But, I've seen the greed some of these people have behind the bar. I mean, it's just like they're pissed if you don't, tip their, if you hit an $8,000 Royal, you give $800, you're there. A bottle of water and a
bottle
beer.
of water. I know. You're right. That's refreshing.
And
You're right.
the
Get
worst,
closer to the mic.
The worst part about it is you could actually be in. If you're playing high limit, you're in. I mean, it's not, that the couple times I've hit those were rare. I mean, there's times you've been stuck and then you're just hoping to bail out. All of a sudden you hit a huge jackpot, you're to get even maybe 10,000 or whatever, 8,000.
Sure.
Next thing you know, they expect that, so you're actually,
still want the 10%?
They're making more money than you just walked out with.
Yep.
You're paying the taxes on it,
Mm-hmm.
That's a great answer. And I know we had a mutual friend, Todd, and this girl one time was ticked off. A guy had a $4,000 Royal, and I think he gave her 100, and she was ticked off, and she's complaining. He goes, well, what did you do? She goes, well, I gave him Bud Light. He goes, so you took the cap off the bottle and handed it to him, and you want $400.
Exactly.
Oh, well, when you say it like that, yeah, she says.
Yeah. No,
That's a great
it
answer.
happens
Great
like
answer.
that a lot. And then, but I mean, I remember the first time when I was in this business and I was moved from New York City and worked in the clubs out there. And I came out here and, I never had experience in gaming, didn't even know anything, got a job in the Northwest bar.
1 second here. It's Follow the Money here on VEASAN. Mitch Moss, Pauly Howard. Chris B is our guest in the studio. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And so I'm working at this bar, just started, and this guy hits, and I didn't even know how to fill out the tax. Well, at that time, actually, someone comes out, and they were paying him out. We didn't pay actually out. So all of a sudden, this guy comes in, he hits for, I think it was $4,000. He gives me $400, and I was shocked. Because you work in the clubs or something, you're pounding, to make $400,
Yeah.
you're working 6-7 hours straight, non-looking except at the ice and pouring drinks. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in shock, and I almost felt uncomfortable taking the money. I was like, I didn't even want to, okay, but that's just the way it is. I mean, this town is a lot different. I mean, I talk to friends of mine I grew up in Southern California. They come out, they can't believe just the lifestyle people lead here. It's just,
Yes. That'll blow your mind.
you tell someone you hit they're like, what? They can't even imagine. They go to the grocery store. You got people ice cream melting at the thing. I mean, it's
Fiery on all
women with their
cylinders.
kids hanging off the other side.
They got good progressives at the grocery store.
Hey, grocery stores. Let me tell you something. There's huge players there.
Oh,
Really?
Huge players there.
The progressive's a lot higher. It's
Yes.
like 10,000.
How about gas stations?
Yeah.
Or is that a dead-end road?
No, I don't. I've never played at I've actually never played at a grocery store either. But I mean, I know the grocery stores and bring in big revenue. Big. It's huge.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Unbelievable.
Okay.
What's the biggest tip you ever received?
Well, okay. I was at the Hard Rock at the time. I was working a private party on Super Bowl Sunday with the Steelers, Seattle.
Okay.
And I worked this party. These guys owned restaurants up in San Francisco. So they made huge bets. I think the Steelers. That's the one. The Steelers.
They won.
They won that game. They covered that game, but it was close. It was they missed the. They didn't get in, or there was a thing at the end of the game where they almost didn't get in, or they said they didn't get in, and he crossed the line.
Roethlisberger, I think, on a sneak. The ball,
it was
whether or not
something
it
like
across.
that. But anyway, these guys had bet 20, 25. They go, hey, it's come in the end. They go, we'll take care of you. So they threw me 3 brown $5,000 chips. Three different guys.
God.
Yeah. I didn't do, and you know what? It was up at the High Roller Suite up at the Hard Rock, and they poured their own. I sat there, watched the game with them, BS with them. Bold, and I probably walked out of there with like 18,000.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh,
but we've had. I mean, you know the story about the Kerry Packard that used to play at the. I mean, he paid for a mortgage of a cocktail waitress.
Yep.
I mean,
Steve Sear.
How much is your much is your mortgage?
Yep.
150,000. Okay. Bring it in.
Gone.
Bring
next
it in.
day.
Bring it in.
Bring it in.
How good is that?
Because he spilled a drink?
I
What was it?
don't know what he did, but no, he
that was how
like
nice he
that.
was.
Yeah,
He
would play big for the
He
dealers.
would lose $6 million and tip $1 million, and then
my
that
God.
shift at the MGM, it's a 24-hour tipping thing. So all of a sudden, they're making. I mean, every dealer there when he comes into town is making for the weekend, they're making $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. Every dealer because of him.
We might have found a weekly guest here. Can you tell the Ben Affleck story at the Hard Rock?
Yeah.
He looks around.
Well, he used to come in quite a bit.
Yeah, and a friend of yours developed a friendship.
Good friendship with him, and he used to pick him up at the airport, drive him around. So one night, I'll give you a quick story. One night he's playing at the high limit room, and it's late, and he's a decent player, big player, and he's winning, and he's got his chips, and he tells my buddy, he goes, "Hey, can you get me a fanny pack?" And he goes, "Where am I going to get a fanny?" It's 3 a.m. So he drives to his house out in Summerlin, grabs one of his fanny packs, brings it back, and Ben gives him 20 grand. Gives him the fanny pack.
To go run and
packs
get a
his
fanny pack.
chips. Yeah. Goes in and takes his chips with him. But there's another story where he was playing pretty good amount, and there was a host there, and I will say not Steve.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
And he was playing, winning, and he's a big tipper. Notorious big tipper.
Sure. Till he met J-Lo.
And he comes in and he starts winning. The host comes up to him and goes, "Hey, can I just tell you, I think you're tipping too much to the dealers and the cocktail waitresses." And he looks at him and he's like, "Well, it's my money. I can, Next thing you know, he leaves. The host leaves. He starts getting just destroyed, losing. Finally, he gets so aggravated, he takes his chips, throws them into the middle, the rest of his chips, and goes, "This is for the dealers," and walks out. Just didn't want to play, gave the rest of the money to the dealers, probably a couple $100,000.
What?
That's a bad host. I mean, why would he say
do
that?
This same host has taken money off a cocktail waitresses. He everything was comped up in a VIP section one time, and they're tipping, and it was a big chip, and he goes, "Oh, you don't have to, I got this," and he took the chip off the cocktail waitress's tray and tried to hand it back to the guest, and the guest looks at him and goes, "Don't touch that."
It's not yours.
Oh no,
Yeah.
This guy, oh yeah.
Is he still working in town today?
I don't know. I haven't. It's been years. I don't even know.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Well, you referenced the J-Lo story. Do you know? I mean, are you well versed on that one?
Yeah,
I mean,
that one, the one where she took, don't tip, yeah.
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 Yeah. Come on.
And I mean, hey, look, I get it. I mean, that's an enormous amount of money. I mean, and you know what? I think he felt his reputation got so much that he felt like almost obligated, like people were coming to him and he felt obligated, you know? I mean, maybe not, but it just, you know, but my buddy didn't want to ever take, and I think he still talks to him to this day. But he doesn't, you know, if you haven't been out.
He has always appeared to be like a really good dude.
Yeah.
And somebody that would absolutely take care of, you know, the weight, all that
absolutely.
kind of stuff.
Yeah. But he used to call him, and, you know, at the end, towards the end when he was with J-Lo, he'd be like, keep it on the DL. He'd call him and, you know,
I don't
pick
want to
him
work
up,
out here.
just stay the night, just one night,
go back,
get out
of town.
Fly back, yeah.
It's Follow the Money here on VSiN. Sorry, Chris B., high limit bettor, longtime bar manager here in Vegas, our guest.
What's the sickest thing you've seen in terms of whether it's a sweat, a guy almost misses by this much, or a guy hits a big jackpot, puts it all in, a guy comes in, and you were telling the story before. I mean, you can just look and you just see all the big players in the win-loss and lose.
Yeah, you just don't. I mean, let's face it. The more you play and you could hit. I told you with the blackjack story. You know, with the guy comes in with a briefcase, starts firing away, 50 taxables, ends up losing about $6,000. 50 taxables.
This is one session.
One session, 9-hour session probably. It's crazy. I mean, and the more you keep going, the percentage is to the house. I mean, that's why if you ever, you know, when you hit big, because I've done it. I've hit good and stayed and tried to play 2 days in a row. You give it back.
Give it all back.
If you take your time off, you know, it's just a tough beat.
Well, let me ask you this. Once you hit a jackpot like you have, and again, we popped that one up earlier, it's 40,000 that you took home. You've hit other. So do you even find any excitement at all in playing lower denominations?
No.
See?
And I was just going to get to that. And you know what the worst part is? The worst part is when I hit these, I don't even care. It's like, okay.
So you had no reaction when you hit for 40,000?
No, not really. No.
What?
No, none at all. The first time I did it, I hit it twice at the Green Valley.
Yeah, this is good. Okay.
The first time I'm in there, I'm just standing there waiting for my sister was in town with her boyfriend. They wanted to make a sports bet. It was this last January. And I'm waiting for her. So I started playing $2. It went up to $5. I had like a few $100 left. I go $10 because they're coming back to get me. So I go to hit. I go, my last hand, the last hand gave me 4. So I turned to him, I go, watch this, boom, and it hit. And I was pretty much in shock then, but my sister, I thought they were going to kick her out. She freaked. She goes, oh, $4,000. I go, no, it's 40. And she lost it. But me, it doesn't even, you know, the problem is, I think too, I hate to lose more than I like to win.
Me too.
I'm in the same boat.
Well said.
You know what? I hate to lose more. And I think a lot of people that do this for a period of time or in this sport, I mean, it's almost like you can always remember your losses.
Oh, it's right out of the movie Rounder. Right out of that movie. Yeah. You're spot on.
You have no value or concept of money.
No.
If you're playing 125 a hand in poker, I mean, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy.
But I always said, and I told you this story, I was playing at the Ultimate X.
Yeah. Now, how good is this game now?
Okay.
I mean, this game's taken over the nation, though, right?
I'm going to tell you
Ultimate
something.
X.
And I was talking to someone in this business a while who owns bars with the gaming, and with the millennials coming in, they're not gambling like people are anymore. So you're having to come up with all these new games to keep them interested. Pretty soon you're going to have video games to bet on at a bar.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me in the near future that you could actually play Fortnite at a bar to gamble. Because they're not playing, they get bored. They're not playing these games, these younger, even like the nightclubs, I think, are going to die.
I think so too.
I think
at some point
they're going to die. No, these guys aren't going to spend $500 for a bottle at all. They're not going to do it. So you have to come up. But the Ultimate X keeps your mind. It just I can't go fast enough.
Oh, it's just like ding, 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 come on, let's go.
There's times I miss hands because I can't go fast enough. And I sit there, and it's like, well, but the one time I told Pauly this story, I was playing Ultimate X 5-play dollars. And I go, if I ever hit a Royal 12, I will stop.
That's okay.
So,
all right.
So I get dealt a full house. So it goes 12 times the multiplier and dollars. So then the next hand gives me 4 to the Royal in hearts.
Oh my God.
I needed the Jack of Hearts.
$240 if it's
240,000 if it would have dealt
12 times, yeah.
Right. Even one's 48,000.
Sure.
So I sit there and I'm contemplating. I'm rubbing my hands. I'm waiting. I'm sitting, letting it. I hit nothing. I didn't get. But I said if I would have got that dealt, that would have been it for me.
Sure.
That would have been it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Excellent. You ever been robbed?
No. Oh,
Really?
No. I mean, me personally walking out because no, but
Working.
Yes, one time when I first came to town, the same place that I was telling you about when I first started in the business, I was working. I was a swing shift. The grave guy didn't show up that night, and I'm working. It's pouring rain. I mean, coming down in buckets. It's now like 1 a.m. I have one guy at the bar. And when you walk into the bar, it's almost like a round shape, but it ends like a horseshoe.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, my register's back behind the bar, and you face the register this way, so the front door's behind me. So I have this guy, he's probably 60, used to come in, drinks Heineken, sitting there around the horseshoe, the far end. It's pouring. So at that time, too, we had real silver dollars. You would plunk real silver dollars in the, and so
going back.
In the bar, we have coin, the quarter coin things, and then we have racks of real silver dollars. And then behind there was a safe with, probably 20,000 in it. So it's like 1:30 in the morning. I hear this. I'm like fidgeting around the register. No one's in the place. No one. And this is before like you lock the doors. So I go and I hear this, get down, and this jump up on the bar. I look up, and there's this guy with a mask on, carrying like a pillowcase, and another guy. And he goes, just get down, start counting, and don't stop counting, he tells me. So now, there's a guy at the end of the bar. He's still playing. Doesn't know anything. So I'm down there, and he goes, where's this? So he takes money out of the register, which it wasn't much, goes around, and he goes, where's, and there was drawers worth of money. So I go, there's drawers. He takes all these silver dollars and starts like, you can hear him ching, ching, cling, and he goes, stay down. So I'm like in a fetal position, counting, and about a minute and a half, they get up, they go, don't get up. And I hear them, they leave. I stood down there for another, seemed like an hour, 5 minutes, get up. The guy, this is no lie, never stopped playing. Didn't even know it was getting robbed. Did not even know. About 10 Heinekens in, just feeding it, didn't even know. And it was around the corner, and there was, a pillar kind of thing. But he didn't even know. They didn't even go to him, nothing.
Amazing. So you got up, and he goes,
my God.
Hey, I'll take another Heineken, please. Yeah.
I mean, it was crazy.
You okay, pal? You needed
I didn't even tell him. Didn't even tell him.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we have like 2 minutes here. I want to ask you this. As a guy that's been a bar manager for a long time, have you ever had a situation where somebody comes in and they are just losing and losing and losing, and it could be like thousands or tens of thousands or whatever, and do you ever step in and say, might not be your night, you've had enough, I'm just calm down here a little bit, or is that not your responsibility at all?
It's absolutely not my responsibility. These guys that are playing like that play like that. If you ever
what if they're drinking?
I mean, you could control the drinking part of it. Hey, I'm not going to serve you, kind of settle down, but I'm not going to tell them not to put money in a machine. It's just not, you're working for a company, a business, that's their business.
It's on them.
I'm not going to tell them. I mean, maybe if it was a real regular and you're really close to them, you could say something, but it's happened before, I've heard, where someone said, hey, you're losing, why don't you stop? And the person actually went to the corporate office and said, this person is telling me what, and you don't want to, you just don't want to do it. Now, if they're trash, you can stop them from drinking and say, hey, it's time to go home. But I would never tell anyone not to gamble. No, never.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Excellent.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, did you see this $2.3 million Pie-Gal progressive that hit?
Yes.
What do you tip on that?
What would I have well, first of all, the funny thing is you got to pay the taxes. You got to pay all that stuff. Net. I mean, first of all, they weren't in much. So that's like a 2.3 million. What do you tip? I mean, what do you give them? 10 grand?
I don't even know.
I don't. That's.
I mean, what's enough? You know what I mean? What's enough for this person?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, 10,000. You know, the dealer though did deal it to you. I mean, that's
Sure.
you know
Something.
You want to stick around here?
Yeah.
All right, we'll come back here. Chris B in studio with us, high limit bettor, A+ appearance, longtime bar manager, and we'll get to win some, lose some coming up next. Part of the show is brought to you by Manscaped, as they offer precision engineered tools for your family jewels. Go to manscaped.com. Get 20% off with the code VSIN. As we continue here, Chris B in studio, high limit bettor, longtime bar manager here in Las Vegas. So far, the reaction on Twitter has been phenomenal. Love the stories. So have you played before, like at the $125 machines?
Yeah, I have.
What's that like?
After I hit that, it's crazy. You know, the weird part is you could actually go get a voucher.
Yeah.
Like give them a stack of money because it almost seems like all you're doing is putting money in the machine. One hand you're putting, 100 in, 100 in, 100 in. It just constantly, but yeah, it's crazy. I mean, you and what gets you is there's times it I've gotten 4 to the Royal on that 100, it would have been 125,000 or whatever it was, but there's a story of a host. She used to work with me at the Hard Rock, and she worked over at the Venetian. And she's a host there now, and she came in one night. I was talking to her, and she showed me a picture. A guy was playing $100 video poker. $100 video poker, 10 play.
Oh, my goodness. They have that?
Yes, or 5 play. It was 5 or 10. The bottom line was they just give him, he just plays, and he doesn't feed the money. So he hit aces. It dealt him aces, but it was on his last pull, and on one of the hands, he only had 4 coin instead of the 5 coin, and it paid him $1,200,000 and something, and it would have been $1,500,000. But I saw $1,500,000 video poke at the Venetian. Yeah.
What is that a push, by the way? I'm trying to do the math on that right now.
Oh, it's got to be $500.
It has to be minimum.
Yeah,
$500.
$500 a push every time you hit that button.
Good God.
That's a rush.
Oh, man.
Now we're living, huh?
Yeah.
Let's go.
I mean, video poker, you don't see that much of that. Mostly you see it on slots, the big high-limit slots.
Yes.
Those guys, they play.
Yeah.
How about tell the story of 2 stories of Hard Rock. One, when they put the 100 play in right away, and also tell the story of the girl who was from Iowa and just started as a cocktail waitress.
Well, the one with God, I've been gone from there for a while, but the beginning, and I'm working, and they put this machine in. At the time, it was 100 play, just quarters, but it's 100 play. So they had it in for 4 hours. They set it up over by that side lounge bar, and this guy's playing, and next thing you know, it just goes up, and we're all looking, and it dealt him a royal. And it's like all these little 2-inch royals across 100 of them for $100,000. Like 4 hours after they put that machine in, and he hit it, he popped it. It was, we all, at that time, back then it was like, and back in the Hard Rock, you got to remember the owner of the Hard Rock, Peter Morton, founded the Hard Rock Cafes. And it's funny because it's an off the strip property. Now you're looking at 1995 when this was built. So he studied basically Steve Wynn's layout of how to run a casino, because he had no idea, never been in the casino business, had a very lucrative restaurant, the Hard Rock Cafe, but he stayed with Wynn, would go in there for a year and just study the way everything was run. And next thing you know, I remember reading articles, because I took a job there. A friend of mine became the general manager of the hotel. And he goes, "You got to come down here." I go, "All right." So we go down there, and I remember there was a line. This is no lie. When they were putting in applications. There was a line. Now, you know where the Hard Rock is on Harmon there.
Mm-hmm.
It was probably a mile long for applications around down the street by going to wherever the entrance to the airport, you know, down that way. But he built this model of a hotel how he wanted. And everybody thought he'd fail because his whole concept was get the young crowd in.
Yeah.
He did that.
He got the young crowd in. Now the gaming, he actually would walk around the casino and was fascinated with the gaming, but we didn't have really high limits at that time, you know, because basically if you took a big gambler, they could wipe us out. They could have wiped out that hotel, a huge gambler. Could have come in there, a blackjack player or whatever. So the limits were kind of small, but he was fascinated with gaming and he wanted everybody to have a good time. That was his model. So he would be the one you were talking about if someone was losing, he would say, you know, hey, I don't want this person to lose. You know, I want you. That's the kind of guy he was.
Excellent.
Built this hotel up. So at the
Gotta go to break.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry.
All right.
We got to go to break. Thanks for coming in, though.
Okay.
Excellent job.
Yeah.
Great job. A+. Yeah. You could talking for 2 hours.
I know. No kidding, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Back
Oh,
next
good. It was
Follow the
awesome.
Money. Yep.
Yeah.